Hey friends, this is Catherine here from Clearscope, and I want to talk to you today about what makes a good search query. So let's dive in. Ever wonder why sometimes your content just doesn't show up in Google or even in AI search tools like ChatGPT? Well, it might come down to one simple thing, the search query. Every time you type something into a search box, whether it's Google or elsewhere, the words you use shape the results you get. And if you're in the business of creating content, whether it's for SEO, AI, or both, those little words, they matter a lot. Choose the wrong keywords, you're probably spinning your wheels. Choose the right ones, you're setting yourself up for content that actually performs. But here's the real question. What makes a good search query in the first place? Let's break it down. So what do search queries actually have in common? Whether you're aiming to rank on Google or show up in AI-generated answers, your results all start with asking the right kind of questions. Because at the heart of every solid SEO and AI strategy, there is a clear, specific, and natural search phase. Let's break that down. Effective search queries, also known as keyword phrases, usually have three qualities. 1, they're clear. They show exactly what the searcher is looking for. 2, they're specific. They narrow the focus. And 3, they're natural. They sound like something a real person would actually type or say. It's kind of like asking a really smart friend for help. If you just say coffee, you're probably going to get, everything and anything related to coffee. Brewing guides, bean types, even articles about coffee and your health. But if you narrow that down and you search something more like best light roast coffee for cold brew under $20, now that is specific, and it's what we call a long tail keyword, and it's a game changer for SEO. These more focused, natural sounding phrases, they're the building blocks of a strong keyword strategy. When your content is built around queries like this, you're not just hoping to be found. You're showing up in exactly the right context for the right audience with the right message. From an SEO perspective, this kind of specificity helps you do a lot of things better, such as discover long-tail keywords people are already searching for, match your content to search intent, whether that's to learn, compare, or buy, build authority by actually solving problems, improve rankings with language your audience really uses, and reduce bounce rate by giving people what they expect to find. So sure, search engines are getting smarter at understanding context, but they still rely on language. And that means the way people ask questions, whether it's in Google or to an AI like ChatGPT, still matters. When your queries sound like your audience and signal their intent clearly, you make it way easier for search engines and AI to find and surface your content. And that's the foundation of content that ranks, resonates, and performs. So how do you find those kinds of queries in the first place? Well, let's get into that next. All right, so now that we know what makes a good search query, let's talk about how to actually choose better ones. The kind that not only help your content get found, but helps it perform. Because let's be honest, not all keywords are created equal. Whether you're writing a blog post, an e-commerce product page, or how-to tutorial, targeting high-quality, intent-driven queries is what really makes the difference across organic search, AI-generated answers, and even those SERP features like featured snippets or people also ask. Here's how to level up your keyword game. 1, start with user intent. Ask yourself, what is my audience trying to learn, buy, or do? Are they just browsing for info, trying to compare products, ready to hit buy now? Understanding this intent is step 1, because someone looking to buy a camera is going to search very differently than someone who's just trying to learn how to use one. 2, use natural language. Make it sound human. We're way past the days of keyword stuffing. With voice search and tools like ChatGPT becoming more common, people are using full conversational phrases when they search. So instead of thinking like an algorithm, think like your audience and write how they'd actually talk. 3, add context. Who is this for? Why does it matter? A tutorial for beginners? That's going to use very different keywords than a spec-heavy comparison guide for advanced users. A product review for busy shoppers? You'll want keywords that reflect urgency, pricing, or ease. Clear context gives your keyword strategy an angle, and that's what makes your content stand out. 4, layer and modifiers. Modifiers are magic, seriously. They take a broad term like headphones and turn it into something useful, like best noise-canceling headphones for flights, wireless headphones under $100, how to choose headphones for gaming. These little phrases help your content show up in SERP features, and they're gold for long-tail keywords with lower competition and higher user intent. 5, refine with Clearscope. Once you've got a few solid keyword ideas, this is where a tool like Clearscope really shines. You can uncover high volume, low competition keywords, related terms, and real world search demand, all without bouncing between 5 different tools. It's like a cheat code for keyword clarity. And finally, once you've chosen your keywords, number 6, I can't use all my fingers, use keywords naturally and write for humans. Include your primary keyword, sure, and add relevant terms where it makes sense, but no keyword stuffing, okay? Keep it natural, keep it helpful, and your content will perform better, not just in rankings, but in real engagement. Because here's the thing, the goal isn't just to use keywords, it's to use the right keywords, the ones that actually connect your content to the real questions your audience is asking. So what does that look like in practice? Let's walk through a real-world example together and break it down. Let's say you run an e-commerce store that sells cold brew gear, coffee grounds, filters, pitchers, the whole setup. And you want to write a blog post to help people make cold brew at home and ideally guide them toward your product in the process. Sounds straightforward, right? Well, step 1, brainstorm search intent. Now, your first instinct might be to go with a broad term like cold brew coffee, but that's vague. Is the searcher looking for a recipe, a product, a health article, a brewing method? It's just too broad to be helpful. So let's zoom in. Before diving into any tools, pause and ask, what is the user actually trying to accomplish? In this case, they probably want to make cold brew at home. Maybe they're standing in their kitchen wondering if they can do it without fancy equipment. Maybe they saw a TikTok. Maybe they're just tired of spending $7 a day at a cafe. Whatever the reason, we're looking at informational intent, but with a commercial twist. They're here to learn something, but they might also be ready to buy. So instead of the broad query, we go with something more focused, such as how to make cold brew coffee at home. It's specific, it's clear, and it reflects exactly what the user wants. That is a long-tail keyword worth building content around. Step 2, explore real searches with Google. Next, we validate the idea in the wild. We head to Google Autocomplete. Start typing with your refined query, how to make cold brew coffee at home, and let Google finish the sentence. What shows up? You'll probably see things like with Keurig, without a machine, easy, Reddit, with instant coffee, for beginners. These aren't just nice to know phrases, they're pure intent gold. They show you what people care about: convenience, simplicity, tools they already own, and every one of those variations could be its own blog post. You could hypothetically create a guide to cold brew using a French press, a no-gear cold brew tutorial, a top 10 list of instant coffees for cold brew. That's the power of autocomplete. It gives you insight straight from the source, your audience. Step 3, validate for commercial viability. Okay, now you've got a few good options, but which one is worth your time? That's where keyword tools like SEMrush, Clearscope, and others come in. For example, how to make cold brew coffee at home without a machine on SEMrush shows 70 monthly searches, which is solid traffic. Keyword difficulty is not too competitive. There is a CPC value, which shows that yes, advertisers care about this query too. So it's not just high intent, it's also doable and valuable. This query checks all the right boxes. So there's real demand, there's realistic chance to rank, and there's commercial potential. That's what you're looking for. It's not just about volume, it's about alignment. Behind every great article is a great query. So here's the takeaway. Better content starts with better questions. When you take the time to understand search intent, explore real user language, and validate your keywords with the right tools, you don't just hope your content works. You know it has a shot at ranking, reaching the right people, and actually driving results. But here's the catch. That whole process, it's messy. You're brainstorming in one tool, checking volume in another, analyzing intent in a third. It takes time and it breaks flow. And that's exactly why we built Clearscope. Everything we just walked through, from idea to intent to validated keyword, that's how great SEO has been done for years, and it still works. But let's be honest, it can be time-consuming, fragmented, and a little overwhelming. You're brainstorming in one tool, checking volume in another, trying to interpret intent manually. There's a better way, and that's where Clearscope comes in. With Clearscope, you can explore related queries fast. Start with one idea, and Clearscope gives you a focused set of high-quality related queries. No clutter, no duplicate noise. Just search terms that are relevant, rankable, and actually tied to what your audience is looking for. It's a cleaner, faster way to go from inspiration to execution without getting buried in near identical phrases. It can also analyze intent and SERP features. Once you've found a promising keyword, Clearscope shows you what's happening behind the search, not just what people are typing, but why. Go beyond surface-level labels like informational or commercial and get real insight into the searcher's underlying goal. You'll also see if your query triggers an AI overview, a snippet, or a video result, so you can optimize for visibility, not just rankings. Because showing up isn't just about keywords. It's about understanding the full search experience. Clearscope also helps you validate for real opportunity. Once you've narrowed your list down, Clearscope helps you prioritize what actually matters. Search volume, competition, CPC is all right there side by side. No switching tools, no second guessing. Just clear data to back your decision and move forward with confidence. So with Clearscope, you can move from query to content faster. At the end of the day, you don't just need more data. You need a better signal and a path that goes from keyword to content without all the noise. That's what Clearscope gives you. A faster, smarter way to turn real audience questions into high-performing content. So whether you're writing blog posts, tutorials, landing pages, or even optimizing for AI overviews, it all starts with one good question. And now you've got the tools to ask it and answer it better than ever. Happy writing!